Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion carries. Thank you, Council. That closes out our public hearing section of our meeting. We have two public comment sections. The first public comment section is for residents that want to come forward and speak on agenda items that we have before us, Council. And then we have a second public comment section that comes at the end of the agenda for people to talk about issues that are germane to the city of Cedar Rapids, but may not be on the agenda this particular day. So we have two speakers that have signed up. First, I'll recognize Dr. Wagdy, who will speak on item number 34, followed by John Wauer.
Good afternoon. My name is Hisham. I'm here on behalf of CPC Properties LC, which owns the property on 1002 4th Avenue Southeast. I have a handout for everybody here to look at. The first page shows the property aerial, and it's on 10th Street between 3rd Avenue and 4th Avenue. The city approached us to acquire part of our property, as in second page, is about 5,000 square feet. The current number of parking spaces in our property at this time is 86, which is about 4.5 spaces per 1,000 square foot. And as you see here from the city representative Cook appraisal, the paragraph in the box stated that we will be left with 77 spaces. This is the city document, not mine. And the next page, also from the city, stating the exact number of square feet we have, which is discrepancy with the representative of the city. The representative of the city did not take in account the number of square feet we have in the basement, which is finished and utilized. So the total number of square feet we have is over 19,000, exactly 19,086. If you go to the next page regarding the parking spaces, the current parking spaces, 86, that barely covers the code of 4.5. The code used to be 7, and even at 7, we had problems. Patients have problems finding parking spots. But 4.5 will have a problem, but we will be at code. The parking spaces will lose, as per the document from the city representative is 16. So we will be left with 70 parking spaces, but because of redesign, they can bring it up to 77. I don't know if they will decrease the slots for the car or not, but the bottom line is at 77 will be under code with 4 parking spaces per 1,000 square foot. I've been in negotiation with the city representative for a long time, and we are at the point now that we are not agreeing about the solution for this problem, and we had a final offer that will be agreed upon today by the council. But what we really need is not monetary compensation for our parking space. We need parking space, and I gave them the solution to swap parking space for parking space. We have an adjacent property the city can acquire and give us 1 foot for 1 foot. They take 5,000 square feet from us, give us 5,000 square feet. That's all I'm asking for. And I went out of my way and I got all the information needed to acquire this property, which is next page, dated January 9th, 2012. So I'm asking the council to reopen this matter and consider my request, or to at least table it this time and discuss it later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. Next, John Wauer.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. I am representing Lynn County Trails Association, and I'm addressing consent agenda item 40Q. Lynn County Trails Association is working to develop a significant recreational trail and an important bicycle commuting route to Rockwell Collins. Blair's Ferry Road from C Avenue northeast to Lindale Drive is a narrow 4-lane, busy thoroughfare and is not safe bicycle commuting route. There are currently no bicycle connections between the two largest cities in the metropolitan area, Marion and Cedar Rapids. This project supports the Blue Zones Initiative objective of promoting healthy lifestyle by making it feasible for many employees to commute to Rockwell Collins and other nearby businesses by bicycle and walking. Non-motorized commuting supports the Cedar Rapids iGreen program since it is environmentally sound to reduce automobile traffic. LCTA has purchased an abandoned railroad right-of-way within the city of Cedar Rapids city limits in order to extend the Lindale Trail east from C Avenue and Blair's Ferry Road northeast intersection to the Marion city limits. LCTA is donating the property, which is 6.37 acres and approximately 2,000 feet of trail, to the city of Cedar Rapids. Access to the trail from C Avenue is via an existing easement through IBEW property. Entry from C Avenue is in front of the Walgreens drugstore or from Blair's Ferry Road east of the Road Ranger convenience store. Cedar Rapids Comprehensive Trails Plan will eventually connect to the Cedar River Trail, will connect it to the Cedar River Trail from the west, and Marion Trails Plan will eventually connect it to the Grant Wood Trail from the east. So there will be a significant trail length eventually. LCTA has been working with the city's staff and, LCTA has been working with the cities of Cedar Rapids and Marion to develop the donated property at minimum cost by using city staff and equipment. LCTA has recently completed a cleanup project for the property. It took the solid agency trucks, three trucks to haul away all the accumulated trash and from the abandoned railroad. LCTA and the Cedar Rapids staff are co-chairs of the Blue Zones Walkability Bikeability Initiative. Lindale Trail Project is an example of what can be accomplished when we bring the communities together in cooperative effort to make Cedar Rapids and the entire metro area a healthy community. I want to thank you for your support on this and for future trail projects. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Council. That closes out the first public comment section. That moves us to, before I take a motion to approve the agenda, Jeff, do you have any changes in the agenda?
No, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Council, is there any changes in the agenda? Monica?
I'd like to remove number 34 from the consent agenda, please.
Okay, number 34 removed from the consent and placed on the regular. Any other, Monica? Ann?
Mayor, I'd like to recuse myself on item 39 and 40I.
Okay, Councilwoman Poe would like to recuse herself on item number 39 and 40I. Councilman
Did you say me? Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. I need to recuse myself on 40NN, 40UU, 40SS, and 36 due to client relationships. Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Julich, just to review, item number 40NN, 40QQ, 40SUU, and item number 36. Okay, Amy, do you have that? And Councilman Swore?
Thank you. I need to recuse myself on 40JK and PPQQ.
Okay, Councilman Swore recuses himself on item number 40J and K and item PP and QQ under item number 40. Do you have that, Amy? Finally, Councilman Olson.
Yes. I think I probably should recuse myself on item 34 since there's some literature in there, and I'll explain that when we get to discussion.
All right, Councilman Olson wants to recuse himself from item number 34. Okay, thank you, Council. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? It's been moved by Carr, seconded by Vernon. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion carries. That moves us to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? It's been moved by Vernon, seconded by Swore. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The motion carries. Thank you, Council. That brings us to our regular agenda. We have 5 items are our regular agenda, Council, but we've moved item number 34 off the regular agenda from the consent agenda to the regular agenda, so we'll take that up first. Monica, you asked to have that removed from the consent agenda?
Well, a couple of items. I know that you were, I think, out, Mr. Mayor, and I chaired a meeting where we talked about the widening of 10th Street between First Avenue and what I thought was 3rd Avenue. I'm almost positive that our long discussion was whether to stay with this. It had to go to 5 lanes or we'd be in gridlock by some year. And what I thought we passed was a widening, and it was very close, but a widening between First Avenue and 3rd Avenue. We have since, and this is an aside, but had a guy that's an expert come in here and tell us that a 3-laner would work just fine there. I think it's our staff who was really pushing for this. I don't think PCI even cares about this widening. And so imagine, I was pretty frustrated when I saw 34. I had no idea that Dr. Wagdy would come forward on this, but I was frustrated anyway because to spend $300,000 to acquire this property and then the additional whatever we're spending to cut that curb and make that wider there leaves me extremely frustrated, especially if our motion was between 1st and 3rd, which I believe it was. I could be remembering this wrong, and if I am remembering it wrong, I'm still not in favor of it, because I think by the time we cut that curb and do the work on it, it's going to be $1 million for something we don't need. And I think it just, once again, more hard surface, more ugliness. Then this guy's got a problem. He wants more dollars from us because of our additional need for parking. So, this is a really good example of what we continue to put ourselves in when we cut these curbs because we got to run on that A level so no one ever has to wait 1 second anywhere. So I'm 100% opposed to this. And if we just stop this nonsense now, his problem goes away, lots of our problems go away. I think we have more money in the budget. And I am 100% opposed to number 34.
Councilman Olson?
Yes, I just maybe a little level of explanation why that sheet was in there. I'm the founder, one of the founders of the Ecumenical Community Center in 1995. It was founded right there on 3rd Avenue, and the cardiologists have been a very good neighbor over the years. And then with the floods and the creation of PCI, we've moved our facilities, 601, 605 2nd Avenue, and rebuilt that and have a great facility there. But one facility that was not moved was Margaret Bach Housing. That was a former correction center, and it was one of the original part of the projects donated by Ed Bach and in memory of his wife. And that has it's been rebuilt. It's got 32 single occupancy residence units in it, which is a unique program in the state of Iowa. When this came forward, this now has a separate board. I am not on that board. I'm still on the Ecumenical board. I agreed to help sort of mediate is not the right word, but assist the Margaret Bach Housing Board and Dr. Wagdy and his group in trying to figure out how we solve this problem with the street widening. And unfortunately, there's no place for these 32 in the unit. There's 32 units. They're full, and there's no place for these people to go. And the group, that board, refused to sell unless there was a plan and adequate dollars to relocate. And so that's where these numbers came up with, was a plan that board would consider with a phased-out program that they could move these individuals to other areas in the community over a year's period of time, and then that building could also be torn down and convert to parking. That's where that number came up. It's not tied to how much that street strip is worth. It's just the swap. That's what that costs because of the type of housing. So with Monica, I sort of agree. When you add up all of the costs, it's getting pretty well up there to get a few extra feet on that street because we had to jog around IC Church which to make that work. So I think what we need to do is.
Well, I'm going to interrupt you,
Yes.
Councilman. I appreciate the background, but if you did recuse yourself from the vote, then you probably
Yes,
should
I
recuse
understand,
yourself
but
from
I
the
just-
discussion then.
Okay, I will from that. I just wanted to give the history, so
All right,
thank you very much, Mayor.
Councilman Swore, followed by Councilman Julik, then Councilman Shea.
Thank you, Your Honor. My memory isn't the greatest, but I think I concur with Monica that I thought it stopped at Third Avenue. And I also remember the discussions about what we were having to do for IC's entrance, and I think this must be a result of some replotting, if you will, of the of what they thought the street could be widened on the side over on IC's side. I also think it's crazy for us to even give a consideration to spending the kind of money that would be required to achieve this particular layout.
Thank you, Councilman Swore. Councilman Julik, followed by Councilman Shea, then Councilman Carr.
Just a couple pieces of information, because I look back on our meeting that we had on the parking back in January 23rd, and medical facilities such as this, they said some of the manuals had this actually as available, that the standards could be as low as 3.5 spaces per 1,000 square feet. So that would still be able to fall into this, from a parking standpoint. Separate issue to some degree. The other question I have is, I don't know, I think maybe like Councilman Swore, this is the transition from the 5 to the 4 that has to happen unless you stop the width of 10th Street earlier. So I guess I'd ask us to get a little bit of information from the city engineer who was working on that, so that we can make sure that we understand that a little bit, because you can't just stop, go 5 lanes and it's 4 lanes. There has to be some kind of transition, and that's maybe what this is, but I don't know.
You want to bring him forward now?
That'd be
Dave-
good if we could get
Dave
a little more
Elgin?
information on it, just from a background.
Thank you. Dave, did you hear Councilman Julik's question?
Yes, I did, Your Honor, and Councilmember Julik is correct. This is a transition zone, but I will say that the design that is proposed is based on the approved site plan of PCI. Staff has not looked at that to determine if that transition can be accomplished more efficiently in some manner. We'd be glad to do that, and there's no reason that there needs to be action on this item today. Staff can certainly come back with the options on how to accommodate that transition in some other fashion.
Chris, any follow-up questions? Okay. All right. Thank you. Next would have Councilman Shea, followed by Councilman Carr.
Thank you, Mayor. And maybe this is a city attorney question. What is the process? So we're referring this to the Compensation Commission, and then they look at what we've offered and what they've countered, and really to come up with a dollar amount. Is that basically what this is about? I mean, I had the chance to speak with a good doctor last week, and it sounds like money's not really the issue. It's really the issue of parking spaces. And so I'm not sure how that gets resolved in this, because, as he said, rather in a funny way, that, okay, he's going to get a variance to have fewer parking places, but he doesn't know if his patients will appreciate the fact that they now have a variance, and their parking lot, reduced parking lot, meets all city requirements, and they might have to park blocks away. So, to me, it's we're talking about something that maybe can't be compensated monetarily. I know that you can put a price on anything, but I was just kind of raising that question, that I don't think that's really what the Compensation Commission doesn't act as an arbiter with a full range of remedies available. They're just going to pick a dollar amount that they believe is fair. Is that correct? Okay, thank you. But I agree with Monica. I see this, and I think, I look at how Mount Vernon Road changed when they widened that, and how businesses were impacted. And at the end of the day, we have a business. You might be a medical practice, but at the end of the day, it's a business. It's a successful business. it has a devoted clientele, and at the end of the day, they need parking places. When he tells me they need the parking places, I believe that. I'm not sure that Walmart needs as many parking places as they have, but I truly believe that. So, this gives me heartburn for all the reasons other members have said. And it's just one of those repercussions from that earlier discussion we had about traffic patterns, and especially in light of Jeff Speck's visit, it becomes all the more painful that maybe we're making a mistake here. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Pat. Councilman Carr?
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I've got on this council, and I'm getting really confused because how I was raised and how I think. And I've been against this project with PCI since the beginning. We're giving all these favors to a nonprofit who pays no property taxes. This gentleman's paid how many thousands of dollars in property taxes? We've affected other businesses on that street who pay property taxes. I was against closing 2nd Avenue. We've been lied to several times on how this project's going to move forward. And I'm getting to wonder, as a citizen and a council member, we give land to Matthew 25, a nonprofit. What happened to the separation of church and state? And now we're giving a St. Luke's Hospital all this money, taxpayers' money, widen the street for them, who pay taxes, and these people don't. I'm getting really confused as a council person and what my purpose up here is to do for the tax-paying citizens of this community. And for us to put this doctor in a position who pays property taxes to have to go through this is obnoxious. It's obnoxious to give PCI all this land who's non-for-profit, who pay no property taxes. I'm getting really confused as a council person up here. What are we doing giving all these nonprofits all this money and land and using taxpayers, citizens, my tax dollars, to do this? I worked hard as a business owner. I paid my property taxes. I still pay my property taxes. Nobody's ever given me a break. Shouldn't we have a little separation of church and state, a little separation of nonprofit and profit in this friggin' city government? I'm not for this, and I'm getting kind of tired of this.
Thank you, Councilman Carr. Well, we have item number 34 before us, but I don't have a motion or a second at this point in time. Seeing there's no motion on the floor, then that it dies for lack of a motion. That moves us to item number 41 on the agenda, report on bids for